Hello and welcome to our learning video. Today I'm going to explain you every single topic of our communication exam. So first of all, I'm going to explain media. After that, UK, United Kingdom, USA. After that, general topics. And last but not least, world of work. Have you ever wondered if media is shaping us? Or if we are the ones shaping it? Decades ago, media was simple. Newspapers, radio, television. Information was consumed passively, at a distance. But today, it's everywhere. A constant flood of news, images, and voices, all demanding our attention. Social media has turned every one of us into both consumer and creator, giving us the power to express, connect, and influence. But like a double-edged sword, media cuts both ways. It informs, yet misleads. It connects, yet isolates. It empowers, yet controls. On one hand, digital media allows us to stay informed, find new opportunities, and even build friendships beyond borders. But on the other hand, it paints unrealistic ideals, perfect bodies, perfect lives, fueling anxiety, depression, and even suicide. Is social media an escape from reality or a trap that keeps us from truly living? And while we scroll endlessly, drowning in content, big tech companies wash their hands of responsibility. They provide the platform. But who takes the blame? We do. We let it consume us. We let it shape our self-worth. We let our screen time replace real-life experiences. So how do we navigate this digital world? How do we use media without letting it use us? Let's take a closer look at the power and the price of the media we consume. Media is a powerful tool that shapes how we see the world, influencing everything from politics to personal identity. But like any other tool, it can be used for both good or bad. Let's break down its advantages and disadvantages. Let's start with the advantages of media. The first advantage is the instant access to information. In the past, getting news or learning something new required books, newspapers, or television broadcasts. Today, with a single click, we can access an endless stream of information on any topic. This makes education more accessible and helps people stay informed about world events in real time. Another advantage is the connection and communication. Social media and messaging platforms allow people to stay in touch, no matter where they are. Long-distance friendships and relationships are easier to maintain, and communities can form around shared interests, providing support and belonging. Digital expression and creativity. Platforms like YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok give people the ability to express themselves through videos, art, and writing. Anyone can share their voice and ideas, leading to new career opportunities and creative innovations. Raising awareness and social change. Media has played a huge role in bringing attention to important issues like climate change, social justice, and human rights. Viral campaigns and online activism have led to real-world change, proving that media can be a force for good. Entertainment and escapism. Movies, games, and social media provide entertainment and a way to relax. For many, it's a form of escape from daily stress. When used in moderation, media can be a great way to unwind and enjoy creative storytelling. So let's talk about the disadvantages of media. Misinformation and fake news. With the rise of digital media, false information spreads faster than ever. fake news, conspiracy theories, and biased reporting can manipulate public opinion, causing confusion and division. Many people struggle to tell the truth from fiction. Mental health issues. Social media can create unrealistic beauty and lifestyle standards. Seeing influencers with perfect lives can lead to comparison, anxiety, depression, and even suicidal thoughts. Many people feel pressure to present an idealized version of themselves online, hiding their real struggles. Privacy concerns and data exploitation. Our personal data is constantly being collected, tracked, and sold by tech companies. Many social media platforms profit from our user data, and privacy breaches can expose sensitive information. This raises serious concerns about online safety and digital rights. Decreased attention span. With constant notifications, short-form content, and endless scrolling, our ability to focus is shrinking. People struggle to concentrate on long texts, deep conversations, or complex tasks because they are used to quick-sized media. Addiction and screen time overload. Many people spend hours every day glued to screens, whether for work, socializing, or entertainment. This can lead to social isolation, lack of physical activity, and even sleep problems. Social media is designed to keep users engaged, making it hard to disconnect. So let's conclude everything. Media is neither good or bad. It depends on how we use it. It has the power to educate, connect, and inspire, but also to manipulate, harm, and isolate. The key is awareness and balance. Being mindful of what we consume, questioning what we see, and knowing when to unplug. As you can see, these two caricatures illustrate important aspects of social media. I want you to analyze them carefully and then speak for 5 minutes about the consequences of social media. Pause this video, set a timer, and start your analysis. Another topic that needs to be discussed is the United Kingdom. The United Kingdom is made up of 4 countries: England, Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland. It is located near Europe and has a long history that has influenced the world. British Empire. The British Empire was a huge collection of countries and territories controlled by the UK. At its peak, it was the largest empire in history, covering parts of Africa, Asia, the Americas, and more. While it spread British culture and language, it also involved taking control over other peoples and lands, which had many negative effects. Commonwealth. The Commonwealth is a group of 56 countries, most of which were once part of the British Empire. These countries work together to promote peace, democracy, and development. The Commonwealth is not about control, but about cooperation and shared values. The European Union and the Brexit. The UK was part of the European Union, a group of European countries working together on trade and policies. In 2016, the UK voted to leave the European Union in a decision known as the Brexit. This has changed many things like trade rules and immigration, and has led to discussions about the UK's future and identity. Let's start with the British Empire by naming the advantages and the disadvantages. Let's discuss the advantages of the British Empire. The global influence and language spread. The British Empire helped spread the English language to many parts of the world. Today, English is one of the most widely spoken languages and is used for business, education, and international communication, making it easier for people from different countries to connect and to communicate. Another advantage is the economic growth and the trade. The British Empire created large trade networks, allowing goods like spices, tea, cotton, and machinery to be exchanged between countries. This helped economies grow and contributed to the development of global markets, where different countries could buy and sell products more easily. The British Empire also contributed to the infrastructure development. The British built railways, roads, bridges, and ports in many of their colonies. These improvements made transportation and trade more efficient and helped countries develop their economies over time. Some of this infrastructure is still in use today. Another positive aspect which needs to be considered is the cultural exchange. The empire allowed people from different cultures to interact, leading to the exchange of ideas, traditions, and technologies. For example, Britain introduced Western education and medical practices to some regions, while also adopting foods, materials, and customs from other countries. Legal and administrative systems. Many former British colonies still use legal and government systems inspired by Britain. For example, countries like India, Canada, and Australia have legal frameworks based on British law, which helps to maintain order and justice. We should not also take the advantages into account, but also the disadvantages. For example, the exploitation of resources. The British took valuable resources like gold, spices, cotton, and tea from their colonies, often leaving the local people with little benefit. Many regions suffered economic loss because their wealth was sent to Britain instead of being used to improve their own countries. Forced labor and slavery. The empire used slavery and forced labor to build its wealth. Millions of people, especially in Africa and the Caribbean, were taken from their homes and forced to work in terrible conditions. This caused long-term suffering for many communities. Loss of culture and identity. The British often forced their way of life onto the people they ruled. Many local languages, traditions, and customs were replaced with British culture. This led to a loss of identity for many nations. Wars and rebellions. Not all countries wanted to be ruled by Britain, and many fought for their freedom. This led to violent wars and uprisings, such as the Indian Rebellion of 1857 and the Mau Mau uprising in Kenya. Many innocent people suffered and died in these conflicts. Unequal development. While Britain built infrastructure like railways and roads, they were mainly made to benefit British businesses, not the local people. Many colonies remained poor and underdeveloped, even after gaining independence. Lasting divisions. When the British left their colonies, they often drew borders without considering local cultures or ethnic groups. This led to conflicts and tensions that still exist today, such as the partition of India and in Pakistan 1947. Conclusion. The legacy of the British Empire. The British Empire was one of the most influential forces in history, shaping nations, economies, and cultures across the world. Its impact can be seen everywhere, from the English language spoken globally to the legal and political systems still in place in many former colonies. However, its history is also marked by exploitation, conflict, inequality, leaving a complex legacy that continues to spark debate. On one hand, the empire connected countries through trade, infrastructure, and administration, laying foundations for modernization and global exchange. On the other, it took resources, suppressed cultures, and caused long-term divisions, creating challenges that many nations still face today. History is rarely black and white. The British Empire was neither entirely good nor entirely bad. It was a mixture of progress and struggle, of opportunity and oppression. Understanding both sides allows us to learn from the past, ensuring that future relationships between nations are built on cooperation, respect, and shared prosperity. Introduction to the United Kingdom and the Commonwealth. The United Kingdom is a country with rich history and global influence. It once ruled the British Empire, which controlled vast territories across the world. After the empire declined, many former colonies chose to stay connected through the Commonwealth of Nations, a voluntary group of 56 countries that work together on trade, education, and global issues. The Commonwealth aims to promote peace, democracy, and cooperation among its members. It provides support for developing nations, encourages cultural exchange, and strengthens economic ties. Many see it as a symbol of unity and shared history. However, the Commonwealth also had its criticisms. Unlike organizations like the European Union, it has no legal power to enforce decisions, meaning its influence is often limited. Some argue that it mainly benefits the UK and its stronger members, while poorer nations struggle to gain real advantages. Others believe that it still reflects a colonial past, rather than a truly equal partnership. The UK and the Commonwealth remain important players on the world stage, balancing history and modern challenges. Understanding their roles helps us see how nations can work together, despite differences, to shape the future. The Commonwealth of Nations. 56 countries, over 2.5 billion people, and a shared history. But what does it actually do? And is it really beneficial? Let's break it down. Let's start with the advantages of the Commonwealth. It supports smaller nations. Imagine you're a small country with limited resources. The Commonwealth provides financial aid, education programs, and development projects to help struggling nations. For example, small Caribbean islands receive disaster relief when hurricanes hit. Trade and economic cooperation. Member countries trade more easily with each other. While it's not strong as the European Union, the Commonwealth promotes free trade agreements and helps businesses grow internationally. For instance, the UK has trade deals with countries like India, Canada, and Australia, strengthening economic ties. Cultural and educational exchange. Ever heard of the Commonwealth Games? It's like the Olympics, but just for member countries. This, along with scholarships and student exchange programs, helps young people to study and work abroad. Many students from Africa and Asia get the chance to study in the UK under Commonwealth scholarships. The Commonwealth promotes democracy and human rights. The Commonwealth encourages fair elections, human rights, and freedom of speech. If a country violates these principles, it can be suspended or even removed, just like Zimbabwe, which left in 2003 due to political issues. Let's break down the disadvantages of the Commonwealth. No real power. Unlike the United Nations or the European Union, the Commonwealth cannot enforce laws or punish countries that break agreements. It's mostly symbolic, relying on trust and cooperation rather than strict rules. Unequal benefits. Larger, wealthier nations like the UK, Canada, and Australia gain the most from trade and economic ties, while smaller, poorer nations struggle to see the same benefits. Some critics argue that the Commonwealth still favors former British interests. Legacy of colonialism. For some, the Commonwealth still feels like a reminder of British colonial rule. Even though it promotes equality, many former colonies believe they haven't truly escaped the influence of the UK. Lack of public awareness. Many people in Commonwealth countries don't even know what it does or how it helps them. Unlike the European Union or NATO, it doesn't have a strong identity, making it seem less relevant in today's world. Conclusion. The Commonwealth. The Commonwealth stands at a crossroads, caught between its proud history and an uncertain future. It is a network of nations, built on shared values. But does it still serve a purpose in today's world? On one hand, it unites nations, fosters trade, and supports education. It offers opportunities for smaller countries and provides a platform for diplomacy and cooperation. But on the other hand, its lack of real power, unequal benefits, and colonial legacy raise important questions. Is the Commonwealth a bridge to a better future, or is it simply a reminder of the past? Does it empower nations, or does it favor the powerful? These are the question leaders, and the people must answer. One thing is clear, an organization that does not evolve will fade into history. The Commonwealth's future depends not on tradition, but on action. If it adapts, strengthens its role, and truly serves all its members equally, it may stand strong for generations to come. If not, it risks becoming nothing new than a symbol of what once was. British Empire, Commonwealth, and of course Brexit are main points in the topic of UK. Let me explain Brexit. Brexit is a term of combining Britain and exit. It refers to the United Kingdom's decision to leave the European Union after a public referendum in 2016. Following decades of membership, the UK officially exited the European Union on January 31st, 2020, making a historic turning point with far-reaching consequences. The decision was highly controversial. Supporters argued that Brexit would allow Britain to regain control over its laws, borders, and trade agreements, while saving billions in European Union contributions. It also gave the UK the freedom to negotiate independent trade deals with other nations. However, critics warned of economic disruption. In reality, Brexit led to a more complex trade relations with the European Union, new border checks and tariffs that impacted businesses and the end of free movement, making it harder for British citizens to live and work in Europe. Despite leaving the European Union, the UK's relationships with Europe remains crucial. The two sides remain major trading partners, and ongoing negotiations continue over issues like customs regulations, financial markets, and the situation in Northern Ireland. Brexit has permanently reshaped Britain's position in the world, but its full impact is still unfolding. Let's talk about the pros of Brexit. They regain controls over laws and borders. One of the biggest reasons for Brexit was the desire of sovereignty. The UK no longer has to follow European Union laws and can set its own immigration policies, controlling who enters the country. Independent trade agreements. As a European Union member, the UK had to follow European trade rules. After Brexit, it gained the freedom to negotiate its own trade deals with countries like Australia, New Zealand, and the United States. No more European Union membership fees. Before Brexit, the UK had to pay billions of pounds every year to the European Union. Supporters argued that this money could now be invested in national services like healthcare and infrastructure. Another advantage is the flexibility in decision-making. Without the European Union's regulations, the UK can make faster and more independent decisions, especially in areas like fishing, business, and farming. Let's break down the disadvantages of Brexit. Trade barriers and economic challenges. Brexit created new customs checks and tariffs, making it harder and more expensive for UK businesses to trade with European Union countries. Many businesses lost profits, and some moved operations out of the UK. Loss of free movement. Before Brexit, UK citizens could live, work, and study anywhere in the European Union without a visa. Now, British people need permits and paperwork to move to Europe, making travel and job opportunities more difficult. Worker shortages. Many industries like healthcare, agriculture, and hospitality relied on European workers. After Brexit, stricter immigration rules made it harder to hire foreign workers, leading to shortages in key sectors. Let's conclude it. Brexit brought both opportunities and challenges. While the UK gained more independence and control over its policies, it also faced economic struggles, trade difficulties, and political tensions.